It's such a beautiful day. Winter in Texas is just not winter. All the leaves are just now turning, so there's a lot of autumn colors around. It's gorgeous. It is so incredibly peaceful out here right now. And this weather is so gorgeous. Where's my capo? There it is. All right. Hello. Hope you're doing well this fine Sunday afternoon. It is currently 4:30 on a Sunday. The sun is almost gone, mainly because it's an overcast day. And it's been kind of drizzling all day, which has been very cozy. But I'm just working on finishing up a song and doing laundry and such, but I thought I would share kind of where I am with a song I started, I think, a month ago. I think I definitely shared this song at least once in a video over the last month or so, but it's finally coming to a place where I feel like it's almost a complete song, which is really exciting. I started writing music when I was like 16 or so on the piano, my grandmother's piano. And pretty much always wrote music on piano for like the last so many years, and never learned to play guitar because it intimidated me, because my entire family played the guitar growing up and I was the baby and I was the only one that never learned how to play the guitar. And then I met Jake, my husband, who was my high school sweetheart, who is insanely talented at guitar, and actually teaches guitar and is a songwriter himself. So I've just been surrounded by really skilled guitarists my whole life, and I was always really intimidated by it. But a couple of years ago, when my dad knew he was about to pass away, he asked us what of his stuff we wanted, and he asked me if I wanted this particular guitar. He had a lot of guitars, and most of those went to my brother and sister, who are guitarists. When he died, I kind of took it upon myself to start learning, because this was just hanging on the wall, and I was like, I've always wished that I could play guitar. And my husband is an actual guitar teacher, so there's really no excuse. So I started learning probably 2 years ago, and like it for songwriting so much better than a piano, for the sound that I have been wanting to create for my music for forever. Like an earthy sort of Southern Gothic / Celtic feel. I've really always wanted my music to have acoustic guitar. And I originally had this song as like me strumming, because it's easier, obviously, to sing and play while you're strumming as opposed to thinking about your right hand doing a bunch of stuff. But I like the way Travis picking sounds better than strumming, especially for this song. So I'm trying to get better at that. I thought I'd share where I'm at currently with this song. I'm sure I'll butcher it and mess up a bunch of times, but this is kind of where I am with this one. So you find yourself... I have to tune. That was really bad. That is just not gonna do. I have to tune. So you find yourself on the edge of disappearing, just like you've done before. Do you have a think I won't understand that I could never hold the darkness, something you fail to see. Is you, nope, is you can give anything to me. Thank you for listening. This window just looks out into a field, and the deer are just constantly running back and forth in this field all the time, all day long. And sometimes they sleep over here. So I just get like a little deer movie out of these windows. Hello, come here. Hi. So Jake has currently been helping me try to find a better guitar part for my song. So he's giving me a little bit of a lesson. I really, really like what he just told me to do, which is going to be harder for me. Thank you, teacher. Teacher husband.
So between the A minor and the C, I just lift this finger up. You have to make sure it's nice and curved. And then stop just to make sure that note's really clean.
Okay. I gotta curve my finger. That was a little better. Nope.
That's it. You just want that last note to be really clean. That was a good one.
Yeah, I'll just need to practice that.
Yeah.
I really like the way that sounds. I'm currently eating bread, my own homemade bread. That's very good. I am by no means a skilled baker or cook, but swear by this bread that I've been making over the last few years. It's such a simple recipe. So I thought later today or this evening I would actually bake my bread and share that recipe, because it's a really, really simple, affordable way to make your own bread where you know the ingredients that you're putting into it. I would like to move my body in some way, in a way that feels really intuitive and good today, like a combination of yoga and breath work and dance. Just let it be really intuitive and somatic. It's interesting how easily I get in my head when I start dancing to try to make it technical or to make it look a specific way, because I was trained as a ballet dancer from such a young age. The concepts of like technique and skill and being in shape as a dancer can sometimes bleed into the experience when I really don't want them to, when I'm really just wanting to have an intuitive, expressive connection with my body and my breath. I'm always navigating the subtle layers of that subconscious conditioning. But now dance serves a totally different purpose in my life, and it's not to try to fit inside some sort of technically skilled box as a dancer, but it's so sneaky how that starts to like play into my subconscious when I'm moving my body. When I'm moving my body in my videos, I'm not always perfectly in this flow of energy that feels really good. In fact, oftentimes I am in my own internal battle in my own mind around, I hope I don't look out of shape. I hope I don't look old. I hope I don't look like I've lost all of my technique. And deep down, I really actually don't care about any of that. It's so easy for my subconscious mind to make that where my focus goes, instead of having my focus on listening to my body and moving from an intuitive place. So I'm going to clear out my kitchen table from where it normally lives, because that is how I create a dance floor. Oh my god, the ground is so cold. So that was my cat. I just showered and I'm feeling really good, so I'm ready to make some bread. All you will need is a mixing bowl, flour, instant yeast, salt, sugar of your choice, and you'll need olive oil. Sometimes I make this with whole wheat, which is obviously healthier than all-purpose flour and has more nutrients and fiber, but it tastes, in my opinion, it tastes way better with all-purpose flour. I do about 2 and then some cups of flour. 2, and I kind of just do about that much, which is probably a 1/3 cup. So 2 and 1/3 cups flour. 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. 1, 2. And then I put about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I just eyeball it, really. I just eyeball everything. And then I do 3 tablespoons of date sugar. But if you're using real sugar, you might use a little less because it's obviously sweeter than date sugar, but trois. Okay, and now you just give it a stir, all the dry ingredients. Super easy. Okay, now You want to add about a cup and a half of lukewarm to warmish water. Hopefully it doesn't struggle to rise. A half. That looked like a half to me. Now you just obviously stir it. So the consistency is like so. It's kind of sticky. And now you just cover her. Put her in a warm place for about an hour. The bread is in a warm place. And the sun is actually kind of peeking out from behind the clouds for the first time all day. So I think this is a golden opportunity a golden opportunity to take my dog on a walk. I'm pretty sure the bread has risen. I waited a lot longer than an hour, which is usually the case. I get busy doing something else and forget that my bread is rising. So let's check it and see if it's risen. Risen indeed. Oh! I have to break my bowl. Oh yeah. I just washed my hands. I am going to take my hand and just pull the dough away from the edges. You can use a fork or a spoon or something. But I just like getting on in there, you know? You're going to pour a tablespoon-ish of olive oil and then just sort of work it to where the whole outside surface of your dough is covered. And then spank it. I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. And then you're going to let it rise again for another hour or so. But knowing me, it'll be about 5 hours from now. Yay! I have lined my Dutch oven with parchment paper, and I'm just going to basically plop the gigantic ball of dough down in there. And I try to aim to get it right in the center. You kind of have to use your hands, although I didn't just use my hands because I was afraid of dropping my bowl. So now I'm going to put the lid on and put it back in the oven for about 20 minutes just to let it rise a little bit more before I bake it. So it's been 20 minutes. I let the dough rise back up just a little bit and fill out the Dutch oven just a little bit more. It is 375 for 45 minutes. Bread. So I have about another hour or so at the cabin alone this evening before Jake gets back from teaching guitar in the city all day. Thought I could use this time alone here at the cabin and do a self Reiki energy healing session on myself and channel a little bit, meditate, connect in with my higher self, with the earth, with the divine, and just see what messages are wanting to come through. As I'm prepping for the winter solstice, I want to be really clear on what I'm calling in and what I'm releasing. That's a tradition that Jake and I do every single year is a Yule log tradition. But I want to be close enough to myself and in a practice of being introspective and connected in so that I can really download what it is that my higher self, my guides, my ancestors, and nature is wanting me to understand. That would be the most helpful, the most supportive for this next season, moving into the new year, and as we celebrate the winter solstice here in a few days. So I'm gonna light some candles and cleanse the space a little bit, and then move into that meditative space just to see what comes through this evening.